Dr. Ichakom Adizis že več kot 40 let razvija, preizkuša in dokumentira lastno metodologijo, ki nosi njegovo ime. Adizesova metodologija za organizacijsko preobrazbo zagotavlja orodje za korporacije, vladne in neprofitne organizacije za doseganje izjemnih rezultatov in obvladovanje pospešenih sprememb brez uničujočih konfliktov. Revija Leadership Excellence je dr. Adizesa uvrstila med 30 najboljših mislecev na področju vodenja. The Thomas Report pa ga je poleg papeža Frančiška, Angele Merkel in Dalajlame uvrstil med najboljše komunikatorje med svetovnimi voditelji za leto 2017. Dr. Adizis je leta 2019 prejel nagrado za življenjsko delo, ko jo podeljuje Mednarodna akademija za menedžment. Dr. Adizis je kot priznanje za svoj prispevek k teoriji in praksi upravljanja prejel 21 častnih doktoratov z univerz v 11 državah. Je častni rektor univerze Fredericton v Kanadi, častni podpolkovnik izraelske vojske in prejemnik medalje časti Ellis Island iz leta 2010. Zaradi svojega prispevka k vladam dveh držav je postal njihov častni državljan. Dr. Adizis je član Mednarodne akademije za menedžment in nekdanji redni član fakultete UCLA. Kot gostujoči profesor je predaval na univerzi Stanford, Tel Aviv in Hebrejski univerzi ter kot predavatelj na programu Columbia University Executive Program. Bil je dekan Adizesove podiplomske šole za študij sodelovalnega vodenja in konstruktivnih sprememb, trenutno pa je akademski svetovalec Mednarodne šole za menedžment pri Akademiji za narodno gospodarstvo Ruske federacije. Dr. Adizis je ustanovitelj in izvršilni direktor inštituta Adizis, mednarodnega podjetja za upravljanje sprememb s sedežem Santa Barbari v Kaliforniji, ki izvaja Adizisov program za organizacijsko preobrazbo za stranke v javnem in zasebnem sektorju. Po vsem svetu izvaja Adizisov program v različnih podjetjih, od zagonskih podjetij do članov Fortuna 100.
So, as I said before, we are very, very proud to have so great person here in our conference, Dr. Adizes. Welcome to our conference, and if you agree, I will ask you some questions to have your opinion, your mind about leading, as we said, have agreement before. So, Dr. Adizes, we are living in a time of intensive change, a time of many challenges which requires people to take immediately decisions, so to take responsibility for their actions, not only from management perspective, but also otherwise. Do you agree with this definition of modern society?
Yes, I do.
Do you think that modern man is sufficiently equipped with vital skills to overcome the many challenges?
Well, I think will be helpful if we have an overview of history of mankind, so that we know what do we need to do today. We put it in a context. If you look at the development of mankind, if you're Darwinian, we started as chimpanzees. And the strongest chimpanzee was a leader. Then we were a nomadic society. The strongest hunter was the leader. Then we became an agricultural society. The strongest person was the one that had the most cows and the most sheep and the most land. The common denominator is muscles, power, strength. And that, by the way, brought the colonialist empires the more land, the more, the better. Then we became an industrial society, and the brain came to play a role, which means you had to plan and to do budgets and to hire people and to organize. An industrial society was muscles and brain. Today we live in a post-industrial society where the muscles are not so important. We can outsource it to India and to China and to whatever. The most important thing for success is brain. Look at Israel. 60% is a desert. No water, no oil, nothing. What do they have? Brain. So now we live in a brain society. Look at big companies, the biggest companies, Uber, the transportation company, does not have one car. They have a computer and information. Airbnb, they don't own the biggest hotel in the world. They don't own one hotel. What do they have? Computer, data, information, brain. Today we live in the brain society. But that is on its way out. With artificial intelligence, with quantum computers, it's going to be more powerful than our brain. So what is the future? And very important for education. Please, very important for education, to prepare the people for the future. If the brain is on its way out, muscles are on its way out, what is the future? The heart. If we do not develop the heart, Nazi Germany was not a happenstance error in the history of mankind. It was a preamble, a preface, an introduction to the future. Intelligent people, highly educated, art, music, no heart. And look what's happening in Ukraine today. Look what happened in Vietnam, where we killed a lot of people. We are becoming more and more powerful, create a lot of brain, no heart. So if we want to save mankind, we have to start developing attention to the heart, sensitivity, love for the environment, love for each other, love for what we do. If we do not develop love, humanity is gone. We are gone. Nazi Germany will repeat itself over and over and over again. So when we deal with change, let's look at the big picture, my friends. Change creates problems. How do we solve problems? With the brain or with the heart? May I suggest we start looking at the heart?
Yes, very important things you said. But what do you think? What is the most important things for leaders to lead such a company?
Sure. Well, let's start with when I ended with the word love. What is love? It's an absolute integration. When you're in love with somebody, they don't have to speak. You feel them. You know. A child comes home, the mother looks at the child and says, "What happened?" He does not have to say anything. She feels him because she loves him. It's total integration. What is total integration based on? Mutual trust and respect. If there is no mutual trust, if there is no mutual respect, there is no integration. If there is no integration, there is no love. You cannot love somebody whom you don't trust. You cannot love somebody you don't respect. So what do companies need to do? What anybody has to do in a marriage, in a relationship, in a company, in a country.
Respect.
We need leaders that nurture, that build and nurture mutual trust and respect. A good leader is somebody we trust and we respect. A good leader is somebody who builds trust and respect in the company. It's a good parent. A good parent, the same thing. It's a good teacher. How can you be a good teacher if I cannot trust you and if I don't respect you? Everything is based on mutual trust and respect. So the future leaders are the people that are trusted and respected, and they build and nurture trust and respect.
But how do you know when a leader really trusts their employee?
Sure. That's a very good question, Tatiana, because the words mutual trust and respect are empty words unless you operationalize them. What does it mean? The same thing with the word love. What does it mean? Love means different things to different people. Everybody has his own interpretation of love. Trust exists when there is common interest. When I believe that you care for me as much as I care for you, now I will trust you. You trust somebody that you believe has your interest in their heart too. They will not hurt you. So when you negotiate with somebody, for instance, I do that, and I see that they're making a bad decision for themselves. I tell them, no, I don't think we are going to do this. Why? It's not good for you. And if it's not good for you, it's not good for me. I don't want something which is bad for you, good for me. We need to do something which is win-win. It's good for both of us. Now you're trustworthy. Do you care for me? I'll give you an example. I saw a sign in a restaurant, and it says, we will not feed you food we will not feed our children with. If you love me as much as you love your children, I am your customer forever. I trust you.
Yeah.
We have a common interest. So you always have to ask yourself, is there common interest? Perceived common interest. I believe in you that you care for me. If not now, at least in the future, you will be there. That's why I trust your word. Trust is based on interest, common interests. Now we have, what is respect? Because I saw another question you have there about learning communities.
Yes.
Respect is not a ritual. And you know, German-based cultures have a lot of respect based on rituals. You know, savoir-faire, sit down, do this, you know, it's rituals. But it's not real. What is real? You respect people you learn from. If I don't learn from you and you're just talking stupidities, how can I respect you? You respect people you learn from, which means people who disagree with you, and at the end of the disagreement you say, wow, you're right, I did not think about it, thank you very much. Wow, that is respect.
Mm-hmm.
But for that, you must be behaving respectfully. So there must be a respectful behavior for me to learn from you. So if we create a culture where we behave respectfully, not just to be respectful, but to create an environment within which we can learn from each other, now we respect each other because we respect people we learn from. So what you want to create is an organization, a culture, a school where people behave respectfully and learn from each other, which means they recognize the right of the other person to disagree with them. By the way, that's not me, that's Immanuel Kant, the philosopher, said. Respect is when you recognize the right of the other person to think differently.
Mm.
Now you say, it's okay for you to disagree with me, but tell me, what can I learn from your disagreement? Why you disagree with me? What can I learn? And what can you learn from me? Respect my opinion because you might learn from me, and I respect your opinion because I might learn from you. That is respect. In Hebrew, the word respect has two meanings. One is to honor. I honor you. That's a ritualistic part. And the other one is to, I appreciate you. So look at the word respect as appreciation. Mutual respect is mutual appreciation. We appreciate what we contribute to each other by learning from each other.
Yes, I'm thinking many of lectures published on your channel, YouTube channel, you always say how important is teamwork, how important is to, as you said now, not just respect, but to believe each other, to do some possibility to grown up. What can you tell us about teamwork? Also in classroom teamwork.
The question should start with, why do we need teamwork?
Mm-hmm.
Teamwork is, sometimes very difficult. It takes time to work together, to understand each other, to accommodate each other. It's easier to do it by yourself. You don't need trouble with people.
Of course, yes.
So why do you want teamwork? Why is teamwork so important? Why? You have to start with the agreement that there is no perfect human being. There is no perfect wife. There is no perfect husband. There is no perfect child. There is a perfect parent. There is no perfect prime minister. There is no nothing is perfect. Please realize, even God in the Old Testament admits he made a mistake to bring the flood. It does not work. He cannot make us righteous. He admits, and he brings a rainbow to remind him to stop the rain, because God is forgetful. So who are we to be more than God, to be perfect? So what do we need? We need to complement each other. Complementary team, left and right hand, complementary. Please look at your marriage. I'm pretty sure you married somebody who's different than you are. They complement you. They are strong in what you're weak. If you are a very creative person, you marry somebody, calm down. We need a complementary marriage. Why? Because the children need both the yin and yang energies together to grow healthy. That's why it's difficult to raise a child single parent. Companies should be managed by a complementary team. A country should be managed by complementary political parties. We need both the liberal and the conservative, left and the right. We need both. One will not work, will make a mistake. That's why teamwork is necessary. But in order to have teamwork, we need to have mutual trust and respect. You cannot work in a team without mutual trust and respect. So, may I suggest, because I'm talking to you, principals and teachers of schools in Slovenia, we need to train people not only to know, we need to train people to be.
Yes. Yes.
To work together, to listen to each other, not to interrupt each other. And by the way, I would strongly recommend that we bring to you a course to teach it, how to do that. So it's not based on good intentions, but on rules. How do you manage a meeting? How do you talk to each other so that mutual trust and respect can develop? And it's not based on good intentions, but based on following rules of behavior. And I welcome you. Just if you want to, we'll send somebody down to Slovenia, we have people in Slovenia, Mirko and Barbara, and they can teach a course so that you can teach in all the schools how to behave so the teamwork can emerge, not expected, but emerge.
In our project, this competence as human resource integration, as innovation, initiative, self-awareness, those things.
I saw that question of yours and I want to react to it. I'm glad you used the word develop. You did not use the word teach. Because you cannot teach entrepreneurship.
Mhm.
As a matter of fact, if you teach entrepreneurship, you will kill entrepreneurship.
That's
Because teaching is giving boundaries. It is how to do it, how to do that. Entrepreneurship is to break the boundaries, to get out of the boundaries. So I found out that the best students, there's an expression, I don't know your grades in Slovenia, but in America we have A is the best, B is the second best, C is average, D is almost failing, and then F. A, B, C, D, F. And the expression is A students end up working for B students, and C students buy them out. Who is entrepreneur? The C student, not the A student. If you look at who started Apple Computer, he did not finish college. Who started Microsoft, did not finish college. I, by the way, was the worst student in high school, the worst. Because that school was too bounding to me, was bounding me. I could not see the world. Thus, you should develop entrepreneurship. How? Not by teaching, by experiencing it. Give the children to develop something, to do something, to create something, and to learn from their experience. So they do something and then they share what they learn. They do something.
super. Yes, I agree, of course, with this, because on the end of our project, that it's very important. If you want that people can develop entrepreneur, you have to change your didactical approach. But I don't know if teacher and headmasters are prepared to have to do so a great
No, Tatiana, probably not. I can tell you my personal experience. You cannot teach it in the school. The school is very structured, very organized,
yes.
And the people that teach it want order and they get annoyed if somebody is breaking the rules. It has to be the after school activities. I was a founder in Israel of a movement when I was in high school. That's why I was a worse student, because I was more busy after school too much. On entrepreneurial things, how to help people, how to help other people, do whatever we can to help each other. And it was afterwards, after. So you need to create some programs after with people that are not teachers, people that are leaders.
Yes, but I'm optimistic. I think the schools must change their way of teaching also, not just, no, don't you think?
Tatiana, I think you're married probably.
Yeah.
Don't change people. All of us that try to change our spouse give up. People don't change. And I will tell you why. Because people, personality is in physiological. You're born a certain way and you don't change. I can predict the personality of a baby by looking how the baby behaves. You're born that way. It is so. If you know my methodology, PAI, the task doer, God do thing is driven by the adrenaline, and the person organized. It is more of the pituitary gland. and the entrepreneurial involved with the thyroid gland. It is very difficult to change people, but you can develop them. But
Yeah.
it takes a long time to develop.
Yeah.
And because they're doing a job which is teaching and structured, it's conflict for them now to change to something else. So I would not try. I would try to build it parallel, not by changing. Not by changing, it will not, in my judgment, it doesn't work.
Okay. Can you, on the end, say that what is proposed for teachers and headmasters to think about developing, not to changing?
Is develop programs after school or part of that education, but dedicated to this entrepreneurial activity. It is by giving people projects, not giving projects. Let them propose projects that you approve, and you help them carry this project to fruition, and then give rewards and awards and recognitions to the best projects that they develop. This is by creating an experiential situation where people get gratified of doing something creative, and then it's not by doing art. Art is very creative. It's not by writing music, very creative. I'm talking about social creativity, doing a new business, a new activity, a new anything. You ask people, what would you like to change? Go and change it. That is entrepreneurial.
Thank you very much. I think that this can be a nice conclusion of our discussion. Thank you so much, really so much.
And I want to tell you, dragi moji Slovenci, ja ljubim Sloveniju, volim da dolazim u Bled kod vas i kod Danice Prk, koja je najbolja učiteljica. Nju treba da pravite intervju šta raditi i kako raditi. Ona je najjači entrepreneur tamo kod vas. Tako da, drago mi je da ste me pozvali i da mogu da podelim sa vama moje iskustva i valjda ćemo se vidjeti uskoro. Sve najbolje. Hvala.